Good morning, TGIF, I'd say. Happy Friday. And yes, it's March 27, 2020. And it is another Friday, another week accomplished. And I don't know how you feel, but today I am exhausted. And I woke up and my husband, Gabe, he felt the same way. We're both exhausted, which is interesting because you're home and you're not going that far, so you're probably just exhausted because your body is missing the extent of not necessarily exercise but just movement and getting out. So like I spoke about senses yesterday, this is probably another sign of what we can notice from being in one place most of the time. For people who now work from home, before if you worked in an office, to get to your printer or go to the bathroom or just go to another department, it probably took you maybe a few extra steps, and now you don't even have to go anywhere because you just call that department. And so a lot of has changed. And so yesterday we had our second mindful communication session, the second out of 3. And one of the exercises we had was about needs. What are our needs? And it's not just talking about the needs that we have that are like our shelter, food, water, those kind of needs, more of like our emotional needs. And when we are talking, we collected a few needs that the participants had, and some of them were like nurture, support, understanding, being heard, reliable, being relied on other people and yourself, and especially compassion came up. And so these are really the underlying needs that we usually have, be it in a conversation that we have with somebody, or the urge that we have to connect with somebody, or just noticing if somebody or something is gone awry. So by having a tough discussion about something, or you just getting out of touch with your feelings and what you actually tried to say. So by defining our underlying needs, and they change over time and maybe from day to day and maybe from person to person, we just want to make sure we know them. And so our work sometimes in like everyday struggles, or like going from one thing to the next thing, being on autopilot doesn't let us think about those. So what happens a lot of times is when we get into maybe a heated argument or some conflict, is because there are some needs that we have, but we don't know that they're existing. And so by acknowledging them and taking a moment to think about them, we able to help ourselves in such situations. So whenever we feel we're not in balance, or if just a little wrong way of asking you a question or saying something to you makes you get all set off, you might have to ask yourself like, why am I reacting like this, right? And a lot of times we don't want to go there because you have to get into a vulnerable space. But I guess these times that we're in right now, where we are asked to stay home, where we're asked to work from home, where a lot of things that we would like to do differently are not really firsthand, we have to maybe take the time and ask ourselves those questions. Because from people that I've been in touch with over the past few days, everybody's exhausted, because it's not that you're taking care of other things, you're actually taking care of more things that you're always taking care of in general, but now they're cramped into one day. So before you might have not had to make lunch for everybody, now you have to make lunch. And so it's just these little things that causes us to lose ourselves. And so by asking ourselves, what are my needs, what do I need to have covered, and what do I need from somebody or myself, like I talked about self-compassion the other day, will help us get through difficult times. So have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.